Order number 47. Number 47, your order's ready.
We're back with another glass of wine.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to Fourth Meal, headlinermusicclub.com, brought to you by Zen. Appreciate you guys tuning in weekly.
Yep.
We kind of release them, every Tuesday, it seems like?
Yeah, it's been every Tuesday.
Holidays were like thrown off because it was just the holidays. But
Yep.
But yeah, every Tuesday, once a week,
Yep.
new podcast. We're on YouTube, so shouts to everyone watching. Hello on the cameras. And we are also wherever podcasts are found, Spotify, the App Store, Apple Podcast app, whatever. If you're listening to the podcast via the podcast app, make sure you leave us a 5-star rating.
Yep.
If you
and
like
a
us.
review,
A little review, never hurt nobody. And if you are watching, make sure you do a like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to new Headliner Music Club DJs. If you want to give us a shot, use the code word HMC Podcast, all caps, no space, HMC Podcast. Get 50% off your first month. Try out the fire edits and remixes and tracks for the DJs for your sets. Today we are with the homie M.O.S.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Finally made it.
I feel like I've definitely known M.O.S. over 10 years.
Over 10 years, yeah.
Over 10 years. We'll talk about how we met. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Finally
got me, yeah.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, and he canceled, we canceled, it just didn't work out. And we saw him last night at our
Made
event.
sure.
Yeah.
Better be there tomorrow.
St.
If I was
John.
like, you sure you gonna be there? I'm like,
No, bro.
He was leaving. He's like, see you tomorrow. I'm like, are you sure?
Bro, they were texting me today like, is he really coming?
No, I'm seriously coming. Yeah, I'm coming.
I said, yes.
I was pretty twisted too, and I kind of gave you that look like, you sure you coming?
Yeah, there's no filter. Like, dude, you really coming? Because there's a bet going around.
Yeah,
no,
it's
good
okay,
times
bro.
last night.
I know you were trying to avoid us. We got the hint, but we weren't gonna let you
I
off
don't
the
do
hook.
interviews, bro. That's what it is.
Nah, it's not an interview. It's a conversation amongst
talking,
peers.
man.
This is not an interview, bro. We have no questions for you except
cool.
for. So how'd you get your name?
Fuck.
No, that's for
Here we
real.
go.
So you live here now,
Yeah.
but you are from
In
New
LA,
York.
yep.
From New York, yes.
Obviously, you got the New York hat right now. You're
New York
a big,
hat, yeah.
New York
Just got
guy.
this Amazon today.
Oh,
So let's
nice.
start.
Shout to Amazon.
You got that on
Thank you.
Amazon?
I do. I order my
That's
all
a
my
fire
stuff.
hat.
Yeah, my wife put me on the Amazon. She
Yeah,
does Amazon every
I just
day.
need to get off
Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
Amazon Prime every day. That's all I do.
Not to be on Amazon when I'm drunk, because I ordered like 100 bags of chips
Oh,
the other
dude,
day.
I do that shit all the time.
Yeah, crazy.
Like between gigs, so like I'll just be like,
Yeah, I be on eBay when I'm drunk, and that
I'm
gets
on all of
pricier.
them.
I don't
eBay.
mind buying a couple bags of chips when I'm drunk.
Like
but when
when I
you're
come
buying
home from
a
the-
car,
like when I come home from a
problem.
gig drunk, like I'm like sitting
It's
on
fun,
Amazon,
though, like,
yo,
Yeah, you just have shit in your cart.
this cat mug is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that, like fuck.
No, I had a point where I would come home to Amazon packages like and legit don't remember what I bought.
Hey, what did I get? This
It's like
for?
a mystery box. What did
fun,
I
though.
get?
Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever
super
back
fun.
massager. It's like a
So let's
back
start
thing.
with we started asking. Sometimes we forget, but I like knowing how people got their name.
Yeah.
Right.
So M.O.S. is.
It's my initials.
Do you ever get people like, oh, M.O.S, like
Yeah, all the time.
Moss,
all the time.
M.O.S, like do they?
So it wasn't supposed to be my name. So what happened was, DJ Sus One
Yep.
Yeah,
from
of
Power
course.
Yep.
105. And,
Legend New York.
Yeah,
DJ.
exactly.
It's like Mariah's
So I
DJ,
grew up,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Mariah's DJ.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I grew up around the corner, like in the same neighborhood as him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Which neighborhood is that?
White in Westchester.
Okay,
So he
Westchester.
grew up in Hartsdale. I grew up in Greenberg. So we're like 5
Oh, you
minutes
from
from each other.
Westchester?
Westchester. So he and I he was DJing this club called I think Club Hollywood, and he wanted me to open for him, and they said they're gonna put me on the flyer. So he's like, what name do you want to use? And I was just like, I don't know.
That's
Just
so
use
awkward. Yeah.
MOS.
It's always the hardest
my
shit.
initials.
Trying to come up with a DJ name.
No,
is like
that's the first thing came up with is MOS is my initials, and
Yeah.
that's just stuck.
Because any name that sounds kind of cool to you, you automatically think it's taken.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
chances are it is taken,
Yeah, exactly.
and you're just like, I don't know. So, all right, what year did you start DJing?
I started DJing 95.
Oh, wow.
Around 95.
Nice.
Is that around the same time you started?
92.
92.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
started
95.
98 or early 98. Is when I
Yeah,
started.
like that's around the time. Like I think the first record I bought was Mona Lisa. I Just Want to Please remix with Dlux, Horace Brown, One for the Money, Touch Me,
know that
Tease
one.
Me,
Oh,
Case.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Foxy
like
Brown.
The, yeah,
Brown.
you did the
Yeah, I remember
R&B.
because literally I had a little crate and I had like 10
What's
records.
the
and
first
that's
record
all
you
I had.
bought? 5?
Karis One, Out of Here. Leaders of the New School, like their first single off the second album. I forget the name of it.
That's not PTA. That's second album.
It was the second album, yeah. And then Cellar Dwellers.
Ooh, perfect match.
It was like the first single. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the match. They had a video
yeah.
for that. I thought not a lot of people remember that, right?
Because I was a backpacker.
Yeah, Cellar Dwellers was the shit.
I think one more was like Channel Live. I think.
Spark Madism.
Yeah. That was like my first records.
Yeah. And then I also had like Stakes Inside De La Soul.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. And what got you into DJing?
You know what? I used to love going out to nightclubs. Like when I was in high school, the big thing. I went to Catholic school, so it's a bunch of like. It's not good kids. It's a bunch of like kids that just have to go to Catholic school because their parents are like, it's that.
I feel like Catholic school is like the worst kids because they want to rebel.
No, it's the worst kids. Seriously.
You go to public school. If you go to a bad school, you kind of want to do better, get out of this shit.
Well, they got money for like drugs and shit too, you know?
Bro,
right.
Or private school for sure has the worst kids. Not all the time, obviously, but like private school will have like the druggies come out.
Like a lot of times, his parents being like, "Listen, this is the last stop before military school, so do right." But no, also like I went to school for basketball. Like I wanted to play ball because the Catholic League in New York was a big thing. You know, like we had like who's playing during that time was like what's the name? Lamar Odom was big.
Oh shit.
Was in our league. What's the name? Ron Artest, Sham God, like all those guys. So I was like, yo, I want to play ball. So I just wanted to play in the NBA. So I went to school for basketball. That's why I went to Stepinac. But I found that the kids there,
you definitely got the height.
Yeah, I had the height. I was this tall when I was a freshman, but I didn't grow anymore. So my basketball dreams just kind of went down the toilet with that.
Dreams could have been a point guard.
Exactly. But so all the kids from my school were like from different boroughs. So a lot of them were going out to clubs in the city. So I used to be like, oh shit, I want to go to Limelight. Like I want to go to Tunnel. So
was it like all age parties clubs or like how were you guys
No, so
in?
we had an all age party club that was it wasn't really all age party club. It was this place in the Bronx called Characters. Yeah. So like we'd all get in because we they just didn't give a fuck. It was a bunch of it was all high school kids in there.
Got it.
Drinking and
security guard was a homie's brother or whatever.
And it wasn't that far from White Plains, so we would just the girls' schools and we would all just meet up there and just party. But the real clubbers would go down to like the Tunnel, Limelight,
that Tunnel.
Expo, like
that's a legendary spot.
So I got into the Tunnel one night. And I chalked my ID, and then I started to get to know the bouncers. So I would go every weekend. Right. So I would go there, listen to like Riz, Scissorhands, DJ AP in the hip hop room downstairs, and then a couple times I went to the Sunday party with Flex.
Wow.
And that was like
how was that?
Another
Big Cap too.
Dude, yeah, Flex, Big Cap, Cypher Sounds. It was like
crazy.
Honestly, it's the craziest hip hop party like I've ever been to in my life, and I don't think that will ever exist ever again.
No, it won't.
Like it's a warehouse.
I'm mad I never got to experience
filled with people.
Damn.
From everywhere.
And I heard like that was like where they would legit break records in there. Like if they played a song, people would pay attention. And
they would like drop like Flex would play a record like 10 times in a row.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then they would have performances. So I remember one night it was like Eric Sermon and Too Short doing Bayou Song.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z would perform with like DMX and shit like that.
Damn.
But it's also super dangerous. Like there's like people are getting shot in there. Killed. Yeah, it was just
nuts.
It was like.
So you were going there, and then what? You just caught yourself like
paying
mad
I was listening to Flex.
to the
I was
DJ?
listening to Flex on Hot 97.
Okay.
Flex was like new radio DJ on Hot 97. And I was like, you know what? I love music because I grew up playing instruments, played piano and saxophone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so hip hop was a big part of my life, and I wanted to be part of the culture. So me and my boy used to do graffiti for a while, and then I was like, you know what? I want to start DJing. So I started buying records, and I bought these turntables off this dude I played basketball with for like $60.
Wow, what kind of turntables?
No, one was like an old technique from the 70s where
belt drive.
70s where you when you pick up the tone
it's
arm,
like a record player.
then it starts moving. You know what I'm saying? And then
it's like a
when it gets to the
drive.
end of the record, it just goes up like that.
Oh yeah.
And then I had another Gemini turntable, and then this Gemini mixer,
I had the same
with
setup.
the transform switch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I bought that, and then I had my little records on the side, and then I would plug the out switch into my
the home stereo.
And start recording mixes.
Wow.
And edits and shit.
And that's just what got you into DJing.
Yeah, that's what got me into it.
So let's fast forward. How was the once you're of age and you're in the club scene? How was the early New York club scene? Like I don't think we've talked about the New York scene on the podcast before. And us being West Coast kids, we don't really know. We hear stories of early even One Oak days, and when it was like
Yeah.
Jay-Z's in there every night.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know,
Do you remember the first like big New York club you played? And do you remember your experience?
the first big New York club I played. That's a good question. You know, the first big New York club I played was probably PM.
Oh wow.
PM.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, I'd been to
See,
a
I don't
bunch of
even know
parties.
PM.
And so I've been to a bunch of clubs.
Yeah,
like I've been
yeah.
to like Spa.
Saw it
Like
in the
before
Meatpacking,
that,
right?
I'd been to like Spa,
Yeah.
and like this is during like, you know, Justin Timberlake first album. Like this is post 9/11. This is
Yeah.
like when New York's kind of getting back on its feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is during like the height of the bottle popping
Right.
celeb shit. Like everyone's out. You know what I'm saying? This is before Richie had a club,
Yeah.
before Noah had a club, when they were promoters.
They were
Right.
promoters.
Right, when Jay was going to the clubs.
When they were like working under Andrew Sasson, right?
I think so. They were like, I know that Noah and Jason were, I think they were at Sweet 16.
Right.
And I think Richie and those guys were doing like Lot 61 and stuff like that. I
Crazy.
think that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so the guys that I worked for at PM were the other kind of hot promoters they owned
Yeah.
PM. And that's where I actually met Kiss.
Okay.
She was working there. And I remember that part, the first time I did that party was a Friday night.
Yeah.
And I got the party because Reach was sick. So I knew Reach's people, Alex and Jed.
Yeah.
And so I used to always hang out at their parties and try to like, you know, hang out with them. So then one night they were like, listen, Reach has got like food poisoning or whatever. Can you come in and play? And I was like, sure, I'll come in and play.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing, and like I think it was like Usher there and a bunch of different
Wow.
people. So it was dope.
Crazy.
And how was that night? Were you nervous?
No, I was. You know what it is?
Did
I
you
had
kill it?
I'd been DJing in this like downtown scene for a minute, so like I was never nervous when I DJ.
So this is like early 2000s, right?
This is like 2003.
So it wasn't even Serato yet. You
No,
were
this is
still
vinyl,
on
bro.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like carrying like 7 crates of
yeah.
records and 3 bags and.
I remember, man, when I used to see DJs from New York come to Vegas, like Kid
Reach,
Capri,
bro.
Reach. I mean, Riz.
Reach used to leave his records in
Yeah,
the upstairs DJ booth at
Vice
Town.
did the same thing too at Body English. Remember, he just bought like a new set, like 3 crates, and
Yeah.
just left it in the booth.
Yeah, you would
Dude,
buy
I've done
like
that a
double
couple
over.
times at clubs. Like left my shit because I'm like, I'm not packing this in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
No
crazy,
way.
man.
So I know I met you at Tao Las Vegas
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
early when it first opened. The DJ booth was like upstairs.
What was that, like 05 or something?
No,
right?
but I think
That
you
must
guys,
have been 06, I
06 or
believe.
7, right? Because
06, 07.
they started bringing you guys in.
Yeah.
You and Barry. You guys would
You guys
rotate.
would
Yeah,
rotate.
because Vice
Vice
had
left,
left.
yeah.
Those guys left for Pure.
Yeah, so I went there to
Yeah.
open. Vice was like, "Come open for me," and then when he left to go get that big contract
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Pier, no, was it Pier or LAX? Both, right? It was
It's
like a
both. Yeah,
conference-
you got both. Yeah.
And then they brought you and Barry.
Yeah, because
To rotate.
So the way let me give some backstory to that whole situation. So I was DJing at I got my first big residency at Air Lounge through Mark Birnbaum, who owns Catch. He was the promotion
I
director.
didn't know that's about.
So and I'd met Mark at the lobby when he's a manager. When it's another legendary New York club. So anyway, so I got this residency at Air. So I'm DJing. I've been there. Was there for like a year. And then I remember it was Fashion Week one night. It was Fashion Week, and I show up to the club, and I see this Asian kid in the DJ booth, and I'm like, dude, sorry, I think you have the wrong place. Like, this is my gig. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here every Friday. He's like, fuck. You know, they told me I was supposed to play tonight. And I was like, so I called Mark up, and he was like, yeah, listen. So we're so happy to have you, but we're going to have Barry play tonight. Like, I got fired, like, pretty much on Fashion.
Oh,
It's the only time I've ever been fired in my life. Well, actually, no. Not the
Yeah, we
only
were
time.
just talking about that earlier too.
No, I've been
That's
fired twice in my life. So, but at that point, like, I was kind of coasting through my DJ sets
Okay.
at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because I just got this big residency, and I was kind of like, it was one of those times when you kind of like I was like feeling myself.
Yeah,
I was like,
and
fuck
you're
it.
comfortable. and-
Yeah, you get
yeah,
comfortable. You start practicing and shit like that. So, like, I remember I sat there and listening to Barry play.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this. I got to hear this dude play.
Yeah. He's dope. Yeah.
So I sat there, listened to
Typical
Barry
DJ
play.
shit. Like,
And I listened to him, and I was like, yo. First of all, because I'd been listening to DJ AM's tapes for a minute. So, like, I knew, like, when I heard his set, I was like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, he's
This guy's
doing a lot of
listening.
wordplay,
He's listening,
quick.
wordplay. I could
No
hear.
headphones, yeah.
Yeah, I could hear the influences, like
Yeah,
Jazzy
yeah,
Jeff, all
definitely,
that
yeah.
shit. But it's all the stuff that I'd listened to, telling myself I need to work on this. But he's actually
He used to trip me out,
working
man,
on it.
because he was so quick and without
Dude,
headphones. So I used to
quick.
watch him play. I'm like, yo, this
No,
kid's
when I
good.
first heard him
dude,
play, I was
yo.
like, holy shit. Like,
Dude,
okay.
Barry was a savant, dude. Like,
Yeah,
he just.
yeah, I love Barry.
But he's practiced. He's like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
focused with his whatever he wants to do. He puts his mind to it.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just does.
But I used to listen to because when you came to Vegas, right? You guys started coming to Vegas. I was like researching you guys, and you had a mix on SoundCloud, I think, and I downloaded it. It was like a live mix you did.
Oh, my mix.
Yeah.
joint.
You started with like Usher, yeah, some, and you were like cutting it up.
So
and
this is
like,
the story behind this is
right,
we'll get to that in just a second. So I heard them play, and I left. Okay. I went home, and me and Kiss were dating at the time, and Kiss had told me about him because she'd heard him play at PM.
Yeah.
And she said, "Yo, this is Asian kid. Fuck. Like I love you, but she's fucking dope."
Yeah.
So anyway, so after that, I went home, and I literally just locked myself in my room for 3 months and just practice. So then I made that mix. Stereo had just opened, which was like the new hot club in New York.
Okay.
So I made this live mix, the mix that you heard.
It was good.
And I submitted it to Stereo. Mike Satsky hit me up back and was like, "Look, yo, I'm giving you 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
Like, let me know what days you can work." So
Off
me and
that
Doug
mix.
Rex,
That's
off the
crazy
mix,
that
yeah.
That's awesome, bro.
Off the mix, yeah. And ever since then, like, me and Barry became best friends.
Yeah.
And then eventually we both ended up doing the Tao residency.
Damn. So how did you get the Tao residency through?
It was through April. My homie April.
Oh, yeah, I know
she
April,
worked.
yep.
April was working at Tao Group
At the time.
a strategic group at the time.
Yeah.
And my manager,
I think they still call it strategic group, right?
No, they're Tao Group now.
Oh, it's officially just Tao
yeah,
Group?
yeah.
Okay.
So April's working at Tao Group, at strategic group, and my manager Keel at the time was like good friends with April.
Yeah.
So they were looking for DJs to kind of fill in for Vice.
Yeah.
And me, I was doing stereo, and Barry was also doing stereo. So
Yeah.
we were like, the next in line to kind of, do it.
And how was that traveling for you at the time? Like, was
was
it
great.
another moment of like, damn, I'm in Vegas, I made it?
Yeah, it
feeling
was one of
myself,
those
or
like
how-
bucket
how-
list. Like I had a list of things that I wanted to accomplish, like travel, like have a.
You guys were like
residency
every other week
outside
too,
of-
right? Like
yeah, it was every other
so
week.
it wasn't as brutal as how Reach would do it. Reach would come every week.
Every week.
Like, every
But
Friday.
did that
can't do it,
did that open more doors? Like, were you doing mainly New York and Vegas, or was that opening like other markets? Like,
No, it was open in other markets. So like I started doing that, and I think that residency lasted for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
So during that time, Live had opened,
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I started, and I reached out to people at Live, and they hit me back, and I started doing Live.
Yeah.
So
what year did Live open?
I want to say like 08.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
been around for a
09.
while.
Yeah, I did live a few times too. You did too, yeah.
I've done it like maybe 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
max. Remember the Wednesday party they used to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I was at Live, dude. I did Live every other month for like.
Do you have any crazy stories from Live?
I mean, nothing I can repeat.
But like,
No, but seriously, no,
Any
infamous,
meaning like getting yelled at by
No,
Dave?
no. I've had like no. This is the only other time. This is the only other time I've been fired. This is
Yeah.
the Live story. Is like it was my first night. So they had just opened. And it was their first Friday, and I'm playing at Stereo. So Stereo is like a lounge,
Yeah.
kind of. It's New York, so I'm playing like Whitney Houston, and
small,
David Bowie, and Jay-Z. Like I'm mixing
fun
up.
set,
Yeah, like the open format
Yeah,
set. So I get to Live. And I remember like getting on and like it's like half full because it's the first Friday. So I'm playing and I'm like throwing in like Whitney Houston, all these different records, and nobody's dancing.
Yeah.
Like 0 people are
Yeah.
dancing. And I just keep drinking. Like, fuck this.
Take the edge off.
Yeah, take the edge off. And I remember like at the end of the night, I remember next day, next day, I was in Jessica Rosewood was management at the time. She was like, yo. No, actually, no, not Jessica. It was Akil at the time. And Akil hit me. He was like, yeah, Dave Grubman said you will never play at this club ever again.
Oh shit.
And I was like, wait, I was like, ever? He's like, no. He's like, no, you will never play here again.
Wow.
So
And that's probably a nice way to saying it.
no, that was the best way. No, that was the best thing for me. Because, like, I need, I love brutal honesty. Like, I
Right.
like people, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm
more of
sure
that.
he said it in a way different. He's never gonna.
No,
fucking play
I
here.
didn't hear it from him. I heard it from, I probably heard, like, the
That's
really
what I'm
tame
saying.
version of it.
Well, you had
Yeah.
a good one too, right? Because I remember you went and played there, like I think a couple weeks before me, and then he got yelled at you about something,
Yeah.
and you scared me because I was there like a couple weeks after. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so fucking,
But
he was
Miami's
tough.
a
He was
Miami's
tough.
a different animal.
Yeah.
Like if you've never really been, because I never really partied in Miami.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that like, yo, I'm not playing for celebs and
Yeah.
rich kids. Like
Yeah.
this is literally like motherfuckers from Dade County.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers who want to hear Too Short and
Yeah.
Trick Daddy and fucking.
Let's talk about that though, because I think we all have been lucky enough to bounce around markets. How do you coming from New York, how do you get ready for other rooms and know? Like the first time you played in Vegas, like, was it just because you knew like what AM and Vice
This
did?
is good. Yeah, it's good. This is good because I was about to talk about like when I got back to live, but like what happened was Jessica Rosenblum ended up managing me, and she's good friends with Dave Grubman, so she convinced him to give me another shot.
Okay.
This is like probably almost a year later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told Jessica about my experience in Miami, and it's like, look.
Wait, sorry, not to cut you off. Did you play live before Tao Vegas? This is before.
This is
You said after.
This
Yeah.
is
Okay, after. But
Definitely
you didn't
after.
go in the same approach on some Vegas energy.
No, I didn't
Miami.
go. I didn't go the same approach in Vegas Energy because I don't know. Just on that, I wasn't like I'd been playing in New
Got it.
York.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
it's just
So
like I
go
wasn't
ahead.
thinking.
Go back to the
I knew
story.
Vegas was like its own thing, but
Okay.
like I wasn't thinking.
Because I kind of like now is like musically like Vegas, Miami are like the
Almost the
same.
same, yeah.
No,
Almost.
Depends on where you're playing at, I think.
yeah, like
Yeah, it
I
depends
just,
on the room, but like for me, live is Vegas energy. In my,
It is Vegas Energy, but I wasn't like I don't know. My headspace wasn't there.
Got
Like
it.
I think I just stopped.
Plus, you
doing
said it was
Live.
half full, so
Yeah, it was
it's hard
half
to get
full.
hit
It's
them with
hard.
that
It was just
energy
a
when
tough
it,
night. It was
Got
just
it.
a tough night in general. And so I remember Jessica hit me, and I was like, she was like, "Look, I want you. You should come down with me the Friday before and
Got
just
it.
listen to, just feel the room out." So I flew down to Miami, went to live. Jesse Marco was DJing, and we sat in the back and just sat there the whole night, listened to the set. And then from that point, she's like, "All right, I booked you for like in a month you'll be here." So I had a month to, and I literally.
And so what was Jesse playing? It was
No, he was playing like down south shit, but like I
Okay.
mean, listen, Jesse was kind of like playing a Jesse set,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like it was still open
All over the
format.
place, yeah.
But I was noticing all I would notice is the records that
crowd
worked
that
and
worked.
the records that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because we
Got
all I was just looking at the crowd.
got it.
So then I had an idea what to play. So like when I got back to New York, like I literally just made a set, a crate, and literally every gig I did in New York was I played my live set.
Wow.
I worked on my live set every night.
Wow.
Like there were nights Jessica would come to me. I was like Greenhouse, and Jessica would be like, "Are you playing your live set right now? Like this is." I'm like, "Yeah, we're working on that."
How did your first Vegas gig go? Was it all G? Like,
The first Vegas gig was perfect. Yeah, it was great. Like Vegas to me is
because I know
like,
Jason was very tough back
Yeah,
then too.
yeah.
He was tough.
Yeah, he used to get
knew
on
what
me
he
about,
wanted.
like,
You
playing
know, like
Daft Punk One More Time. He used to hate me
Yeah,
playing that.
yeah, couldn't play that.
Can't play that. There were a
It
couple
changed
records.
though, but I mean like the first, I was there the first.
Omar
like,
used to make that shit real difficult too.
yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
love
Omar.
Omar to death.
He
Omar.
definitely would make it.
But you
more
know what?
difficult.
He
Yo,
did.
Omar pulled me aside one time, like before my set. He was like, "Yo, so this guy wants to hear like Depeche Mode for like 30 minutes." I was like,
What?
What are you fucking talking about right now?"
Depeche Mode for 30 minutes.
He's like, "Yo, can we play like a bunch of Depeche Mode records?" No, it wasn't Depeche Mode. It was what's the group that does I'm
Deep Dish.
no.
Oh, you're talking about because there's a guy that always asks for Deep Dish too, but
Yeah. It was another 80s group. I'm slipping my mind right now, which it
Depeche
shouldn't.
Mode, New Order, The Cure,
Ramones.
No.
The Smiths?
Like New Wave.
New Wave, Eurythmics, Tears for Fears.
Hungry Like the Wolf.
Oh,
That's why do we not know this?
Well, because
group?
I always go
Rio.
blank on the
They
spot.
did Rio too.
Yeah, they did Rio. We're so bad for
Oh,
not knowing the
man.
name of this group because
Duran
Duran.
Duran.
Yep.
Woo!
Some spender wanted to hear Duran.
For
I
30
know.
minutes.
I actually know who that
Like
is.
it was like 30.
I
It was like
remember that.
he gave me a bunch of records that he wanted to hear, and I was like, "How do I fit this into
Yeah.
my set?" And then also like not piss Jason off,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So-
those were the days, man.
Well, I
But
feel
Vegas
like it-
was there. But Vegas to me was kind of easy because it was kind of like I realized it was it's middle America.
Yeah.
for the most part.
It is.
So like Nelly Ride With Me.
Yeah,
and-
Vegas is very easy.
To this day, Nelly Ride With Me. When I
still
walk
one of
in
the
and
big
opener is
records.
still playing it is
Yeah,
the
it's
biggest song.
classic.
But
of the
also,
night.
you know what was good? Because also Dlux, to give you credit, like I would come early and listen to your set, and like based on what you were playing and the crowd was popping, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
If they're wilding to this, yeah, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
Usher, yeah.
Yeah.
Next, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like you set the shit up perfect.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
I don't remember what I was playing, but I had like a ill
You
opening
and
crate.
Scratchy actually. You and Scratchy
Yeah.
were like, yeah, because Scratchy was doing that shit too, yeah.
I think I learned how to open tout from watching Scratchy because he was
Damn.
there before me. Yeah, they started using us as an example,
Yeah.
like to other
Crazy.
DJs. Oh yeah, they told
Yeah.
me to come watch you because like you have the room figured out. I'm like, really? All right, watch
Yeah,
me
you,
then. I don't know
you
what I'm
guys
doing.
taught D Miles.
D-Miles was
CLA.
also D-Miles
Yeah.
opened for me. I think when we did start doing Lava when I first opened.
yeah.
Wow, Lava
Yeah.
was fun. The Lavo Sundays when I used to
had
like fill in for
Tuesday
Vice.
and I think I had Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah.
That was too much for me.
But yeah, but it's important to like go and like see. I think it's important to go
Yeah.
to like the venue and see. Like if I have to DJ another state that I've did, like Texas, for example.
But
I try to go down there
Yeah,
early.
would you go to Texas?
I would go
or something?
early for that if it's a big enough club.
Like
for
early-
instance, the live
if it's a big enough
situation.
check.
Or early,
the big-
like early in the night, or early like a day before.
I would try to go down there like a day before,
Hmm.
or like go down there like, or at least call the DJ or call someone who's played there and figure out what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think like now, I mean, nowadays, it's like music is so
Yeah.
Music is a little
yeah,
easier
it's a little
now.
different. Yeah, it's more
All across the board, like
yeah,
crush-
across the board. Like people have Spotify, they can hear.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
But
But
back
definitely,
then
like,
it
yeah.
was, like that whole live thing. Like when
Back
I
then
ended
was
up playing
tough.
my set, like
Yeah.
it literally kept the club open until almost 6.
Yeah.
And Dave Grubman gave me like literally almost every week. So
Yeah.
I ended up being a resident for like 2 years after that set. So I think preparing is like kind of like
Definitely, man.
that's the
'Cause
thing that I've
nowadays-
learned. It works.
Nowadays
Gotta
with
prepare.
Instagram, because obviously there was no Instagram back then, but nowadays with Instagram, if I get booked or an offer for a new club I've never been to, I'll check their Instagram and
do
based
research,
on
yeah.
Yep.
on a couple of things, photos of the crowd of how like you can see if it's a big room or a small room.
Yeah.
Based on who they've booked before, if it's like Party Favor or like RL Grime, it's all right, it's a little more EDM
Yeah.
based, or if it's
Open format guys. yeah.
open format guys like
Yeah.
us, or if it's more hip hop leaning, like you can kind of get a good gauge of the
Yeah.
music just by a club's Instagram.
Yeah, I
nowadays.
do my research. I
Prepare
also
and do
like
your research, right?
Yeah,
It's
I think when I started doing Hakkasan in Vegas, that was the second time I was in Vegas.
Oh, yeah,
I think I went online and started going to SoundCloud and seeing people's sets from Hakkasan. Like I used to do that like research, like who's live, like people would just put up live sets from clubs. So I would say, okay, who's, whatever DJ who's playing there, I would go to their SoundCloud page. What are their live sets from what other spots? Just figure out like, what they're working with.
And how long have you been in LA now?
I think it's been 4 years now.
4 years. Okay.
shit.
So before we get to that, let's talk about, because you do a lot of fire. I like to call them bow tie gigs, because I know you have a very nice tuxedo collection.
Dude,
because
listen.
you do some really big parties,
Yeah.
and I mean I want to see the stress level on those, because you do like Oscar parties,
Yeah, yeah,
Grammy
yeah, yeah.
parties. What's recently, which was a couple months ago, or not a couple months ago,
a month ago.
was Diddy's
50th. Yeah.
That looked insane, bro.
Oh, that's definitely probably the best
did like
party
a-
I've ever done.
And if I know Diddy too,
Did
and
it at
he's
his crib,
pretty
like-
fucking crazy.
You did like a 15-hour set, right? Or
I
something
did.
crazy.
So I started at. I got there at 9. Supposed to start at 9.
Yeah.
Ended up starting at like 10. Played from 10 to about 12:30 in the main. Like they had a main room with like where you saw. That's where you saw all the videos from.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
where,
at his
like,
house?
This is at his house. So they had a whole build out. This shit was insane.
Yeah,
Like,
of
so I
course.
played, and then Mary J. Blige came on, and all the performances. Then D Nice and Cassidy came on and
Yeah.
played, and then they wanted me to play the after party. So the after party is at the pool house, which is
Yeah.
like right around the corner at the pool. So I had a setup there. So I got there like around 3, and by that time, like we had been there since 9, me and Kiss. So we'd been like drinking since 9.
Yeah.
and they're passing weed since 9. So like, so I am like obliterated.
Yeah.
at this point,
Wow.
right?
Of course.
So we get it. So it's me, Kiss. This room had like red lights. It's my friend David and like William Lifestyle was with
Yeah.
us.
So Kiss
and
is
Park.
M.O.S.'s wife.
Yeah,
for
DJ
those
Kiss.
that
So
don't know,
so we're hanging out in a room, and like I started DJing, and like I think an hour into the set, I was like, "Fuck it, let me record this." So I pressed record, and that's when the recording started. And like I'm playing like Prince and Phil Collins, because just 4 of us in there. So I'm playing around. So around 4:00, Puff comes in, and then like fucking French Montana comes in, and Megan Thee Stallion comes in, and Little Kim comes in, and then that's when you can hear the party like kind of turn into
right.
something. But like I was out of my mind.
Wow, what were you drinking? 42.
I was doing 42 for a while. I was doing tequila for a while, and then I just switched to wine because I was
Okay.
like, look,
It's like mellow it out.
yeah, I need to mellow out. Like, I need to pace myself right now.
So I
Yeah.
remember you like posted something about like, yo, this set might be like one of
Yo,
your like,
sloppy as fuck. Like when I listened
No.
to it the next day, I was like, oh wow, I fucked up, because I'm very particular about. That's why I don't put out a lot of live sets. But
Music's
when I
yeah,
listened to
music's
it and
good.
listened to the music, I was like, oh, I should put this out.
How did you break into like the? I don't want to call Diddy. Obviously, that's not a corporate gig, but like you do corporate gigs. But how do you do the private parties?
I consciously try to go there. Like I consciously like, you know, I'm a big fan of Mark Ronson.
Yeah,
and
man.
I knew like he'd done like a ton of stuff with Puff. And growing up in New York, Puff is like the man to me. Like I
No,
thought he's
I
the
think-
fucking greatest. Like
Even here, he's the man.
yeah, no,
Puff
but
is
I was
Puff.
like, you know, collected all the Bad
For
Boy
sure, for
records
sure.
and like all the B-sides and mixtape shit. So I remember my wife got hired to DJ for Puff, his 39th birthday. So she took me, so I went with her to his crib in Miami for his 39th.
So 11 years ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago. So we started like, so I met him there. And then she did a bunch of other events for him. And then I remember his manager, James Cruz, good friend of mine,
Yep. Shout out
called me
James.
up and was like, look, you know, Puff wants you and Kiss to DJ his party in St. Bart's. He's doing a New Year's Eve party in his yacht. So I was like, fuck, yeah, of course. Shit. This was the first time I got a chance to play. So we get down there and Kiss DJs this. Kiss had another event that day.
Kiss
the
is
day before.
fucking
Yo, Kiss for
dope.
my wife, first of all, is a G.
I've
Like,
heard
event shit.
her in Miami when she was part of Scam, and like it was one of those Winter Music, and Scam had this little venue, and I heard her play, and I was like, holy fucking shit.
She plays like
her
a guy.
music.
She
selection
plays like a
is-
guy. Like
Yeah,
her,
yeah.
she's very like.
She's
her,
a beast, bro.
She
But
used
her
to. I used
selection
to
is,
let
like,
her
super
close for me
choice,
at
though.
Stereo when we first started dating
Yeah.
because when she started DJing.
Do you
and
guys have like a little friendly competition? Like,
yeah, we got competitive for
Yeah,
a
I can
while. It's not
imagine.
like that anymore. But
Okay.
in the beginning, because she, like I said, I would let her go on at Stereo at like 3:00 in the morning, and she'd come on playing like fucking like Eazy-E and fucking like Nate, like just crazy, like and Juvenile and shit, and like all these DJs. all
She
these
definitely took
older
a lot of
DJs
risks.
would be like, and older like people would be like, who the fuck is this
Yeah,
chick?
bro.
Like what the fuck? She was
She
like,
had a really good edge.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
So she knew what she was doing. So like she started getting booked fast. And I told her that. I said, look, your musical knowledge is way better than most
She's-
DJs.
yeah, she's fire.
And you're a model. Like, you
Yeah.
kidding me? Like if you take this seriously, you're going to be the biggest DJ in the world.
Yeah.
And she took it seriously because
yeah,
she's
she was
very
killing it,
focused on what she does. So so she was doing the Puff shit. And then I remember she was doing an event on the day before New Year's Eve in St. Bart's. And we went to dinner with James Cruz, and James was like, look, Puff wants to actually do a party tonight, too. So, and Kiss was tired. She was like, it's an M.O.S, can you play? And I'm like, fuck it, yeah, of course. So I played like the night before, which was probably, I think was a better party than New Year's Eve.
Oh,
so it was
shit.
like, it was Leo and Rihanna. It was like all these, Chris Rock. It was a great,
A-listers,
yeah, it was a really like super A-list kind of thing.
Because
But
New
from
Year's Eve,
the-
they all have different plans.
yeah,
probably.
from New Year's. I mean, New Year's Eve, there's still a lot of. It was them and then everyone else.
Yeah.
So then the party before that was really good, and like I played like classics, and like that's the time me and Puff like really kind of connected.
So he was
And
like,
we
yo.
talked. Yeah, we got a chance to talk.
And then
so-
Cassidy does a lot of his stuff too,
Cassidy's been DJing for Puff forever.
right?
He's like the go-to.
That's his go-to.
He's been his go-to forever. Him and D-Nice, yeah.
Damn. And then what's some other private parties that you've done that like were just out of this fucking like
I mean,
mind-blowing shit?
We do
going on?
Oscars every year.
Okay.
We do the
That's
Oscars
crazy
every
too.
year.
Like the official Oscars party?
Yeah, we do the official Governor's Ball after party, which we've been doing that for about 4 years.
What's the pressure like on that, bro?
I don't feel,
I don't
honestly,
like
those
doing
type of
gigs
parties
like that.
those
My
aren't
anxiety's
pressure to me.
crazy. You say
Like,
what?
Those aren't pressure to me.
No?
Yeah.
I don't feel pressure playing those type of parties because it's pretty much the same shit.
Yeah.
Been doing it for so long.
For the
too,
most part, you know.
Because it's not even. I don't feel like the crowd really cares, but it's the party planners are so like.
They
just care if people.
Anxious?
Well, the thing is, most of those you can realize most DJs that play those parties. No offense to any of you DJs, but can't DJ.
Yeah.
Like they don't DJ.
They just know someone.
Yeah, they just play music.
Right.
They play background music, you know? So it's easy to play background music. Like you and I can play 80s and 70s and shit. Like, you know, we do that for hours.
Yeah.
But for me, being a club DJ also, I'm able to transition from that into like a party.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's gotten me booked at a lot of events. Like I'll do an event for, like I did an event for Vanity Fair years ago, and it was at a store. And they were like, they expected it to be like a cocktail party.
Right.
And I'm playing cocktail music. And then all of a sudden I start transitioning into more like party shit.
Everyone got turned.
Not turn up, not super crazy hip hop shit, but party shit.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
playing a party set. And people start dancing and start wilding out. They're like, holy shit, we didn't expect people to ever dance.
Yeah.
So
But
I used to
yeah.
get that a lot when I would
That's
do
dope.
events. So that's kind of like what's gotten me booked. Because I'm not like, you know, a pretty girl or a rich
Yeah, you are.
kid.
Now you're a pretty girl.
Or
bro.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Don't let anybody tell you
I don't
different,
work in
bro. You're a pretty
fashion or
girl.
anything like that. My parents don't, like, you know, don't own anything. Well, they own shit, but they you know,
Nah, that's
their
good.
own.
Self-made, bro.
I'm
yeah,
self-made,
for sure.
yeah. So
Yeah, we
it's
all
like,
are. And then
I feel more pressure doing a club,
really
nightclubs.
I'm the opposite.
Because people are fickle. You never know. Like one night at Avenue could be the greatest night ever, and I could play the same set the next week, and they'd be like, "Yo, can you pick it up?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's not."
That happened like early Avenue, but now I think they kind of
Yeah,
know,
they're
like, how
cool
the
now.
crowd
No, they're
is.
cool now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
But I
about
think
to-
I get nervous like in new cities. That's probably the only
Yeah.
time. And then, you know. then-
I think that's the more pressure when you go to a new city, and it's like your first time there, and if the club's not busy or if they're not reacting, you're hard on yourself, right?
Oh yeah.
But then the only thing I think about is like, oh shit, like the club, the booker or whatever expected more, and like
Yeah.
I'm just a disappointment. A
Yeah,
bum out
I've had that happen overseas a couple like once or twice.
Overseas is tough, bro.
Dude,
like
I went to-
I actually was in Dubai with you.
Dubai.
That was my first time in Dubai when we played.
Yeah,
bro.
Dubai. You gotta like Dubai's tough, man.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You have to like go there a couple times to get it. Like they like hip hop, but they also like that kind of like.
And they don't want you to
reggae,
play the
like,
songs too fast either.
Moombahton
Yeah.
kind of thing, but they don't want any like too RL grime.
And
Like,
you were
Yeah,
going
yeah.
once a month, right?
yeah, me, Mel.
Still or no?
No. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Base like they.
I think you went, and I went like a couple times last year, and I think we kind of took over where you guys left.
Yeah, we did 3. We were there for 3 years.
Yeah.
I wanna say
I did once a month for like 3 years.
When we were both there, like it was like a double booking, I think.
No, it was a double booking.
Like
yeah.
I was there, and you're like, wait, what are you doing here? And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
I was like,
Yeah, I
wait,
remember-
what night are you DJing? I'm DJing that night. I'm like, wait,
I
I'm
bombed
DJing
the
that
second-
night.
Yeah, that
Holy
was
shit.
crazy.
I did good the first time. They was like, "Oh, we got 2 more dates for you," and then I went back the second time. and
No,
I
they're gonna
bombed,
complain.
and
They
I was
just,
like,
they
yeah.
just don't. I mean, the crowd is just all
Yeah.
over the place.
It's
out
tough.
there.
That's a tough
I
market.
remember I went to Bucharest, and
Yeah.
Where's
in
that at?
Romania.
Okay.
Went to Romania, and I remember I was playing in this place. It's kind of like their Hamptons, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
by the ocean and shit. So it's this huge club. Some DJing. So I remember right before I go on, the girl who booked me was like, you know what? They really like to hear like X gonna give it to you. It's a big record. I'm like,
Oh shit.
that's
X. I never heard that
this
before.
is hearing that right before you go on is literally the worst thing you could ever hear because they're like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of frame of
Yeah.
reference is that?
You're gonna have to go into a vinyl
Like, who the
set.
fuck listens to that song? Like, what? How
Yeah,
is that the
X gonna
record?
give it to you.
This is
Oh,
not. This
shit.
wasn't even the time when the record
Like
was
10
even
years
out.
like
this
15
is
years
like
behind.
DMX has already been in jail, and
Yeah.
DMX is not even on the scene anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, okay, I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
So I played house and hip hop, and then they kept coming up to me like, "Can you play this? Can you play that? Do you have this?" And people aren't dancing, and it's weird, and
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, that happened to me
And,
in
yeah.
Montreal was like that with me. Like I went
Really?
there like, oh, during the mashup era, like 08, 07.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, we went, when you do in Vegas, I go out there, I'm playing like Bon Jovi and like with like drums behind it and whatever. It's like, oh, this is not it. This is not it. I was like, no. Our guy will go back on. I'm like, all right. The guy goes back on. His first song was Suavemente. I'm like,
Wow.
and he starts playing reggaeton at the time. Like that's when like the
Yeah.
Daddy Yankees and all that. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like kind of like thrown off. Like what the hell? Like this is not. What
That's
the fuck?
not- I
You know
don't-
what do you want? Like, but
Listen.
I was really like, I took the first flight out. Like I was really bummed out. I was like, fuck this place. I'm never coming back to Montreal.
dude,
and I haven't been back.
I have had that happen. Dude, listen, I ran out of Romania.
Yeah.
Like I ran out of that shit. I was literally like, yo, Dracula's about to pick me up.
And you'll never go back there.
Never going back.
Damn, that's crazy.
Damn. Dude.
Nah, I will go. Listen, Romania, please book me again.
Not the you're not you're obviously not this is the country,
Yeah.
but just the gigs sometimes are like
No, sometimes it's just
tough.
sometimes
Yeah.
it just doesn't work out. But like, listen, that's
Can't
part
be
of
hard on
DJing,
yourself,
man.
man.
It's part
You
of
just gotta-
DJing.
Because
Yeah.
also you're dealing with so many different like personalities.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times promoters are just may not want you to be
Yeah.
there. You know, a lot of times they're like nervous about having you there, so they're over micromanaging your set. You know.
I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much shit DJs have to deal with. Like it is a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like there's one person that doesn't want you. There's also like you said, different personalities in one room.
Yeah.
That everybody has different tastes of music.
Yeah, you never know.
Everyone has a favorite song, and
First-
like I talked about this on the podcast. Open format DJing is the hardest
It's so
type of
tough.
DJing to do. Like, because they know what Calvin Harris is gonna play.
Calvin Harris is gonna drop. He just goes on, drops "We Found Love," boom,
That's it.
Party. That's the first song he throws on.
for us,
it's
man.
Smooth
good.
sailing for us is
Smooth
like
sailing.
Especially when you go to like the Midwest and they like
Every night's
they go
different.
like they boo you and
They
they're
were
like flipping you off. You're like wow.
flipping you off, arms
You're like,
crossed.
what the hell?
Man, it's so crazy.
Oh my God! Listen.
Do you remember having like a terrible situation like that with the crowd?
Crowd situation. Yeah, I mean, I had one event that was really, really bad. That was like, it was a Christmas event. It was a couple years ago, and it's for this client that actually booked me for a bunch of like really big events. So like they're cool. So I did this party for this company in New York, and I didn't realize that most of the people who worked there were Hispanic.
Okay.
You know, and so I get there and I'm playing because they were telling me it's this older white dude. He wants to hear like, you know, Christmas music and then some rock and all that stuff. And then like all the ladies there were like Hispanic. They were like, can you play some no, can you play like bachata and salsa and all this? And I was like, fuck. I was like, I had to create this stuff. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll play. So I started playing some music, and they were like, "Can you play some more?" And then I would play something else, and "Can you play some more?" And then I was like, "Okay, I'm out of records now."
Yeah.
And then they were like, and then at one point, like everyone would sat down around the dance floor, like on chairs, and it was just like this.
Oh,
wow!
And I
and at
swear
this
to God,
point,
I was like,
how much longer was your set at this point?
I was like,
I would have
and
had a
the
heart
lady,
attack.
and I was like, the lady who was paying me, she was literally like, "Look, can you play some, like, these ladies want to hear some bachata and salsa?" I was like, I've played everything, and like when I play like reggae, like I play like Daddy Yankee or like you know, J Balvin, they don't want to hear that. So some
They
girls,
want like the slow stuff.
yeah, so some chick came up to me and gave me her like iPhone, and I plugged it in, and I just went to the bar and had a drink.
Wow.
And let that play for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I got back on and decided to play some regular shit, and they got mad again.
Oh my God!
No, and this is not even. This is the worst part about it. So at the end of the night, like it's like time for me to go, and I literally went to the lady. I was like, "Listen, it's like I'm done in like 2 minutes, so I'm gonna shut the music off." And she's like, "Oh, you ready to get out of here now, huh?" And I was like, "Huh?" And then she's like, "How much for you to stay longer?" I was like, "I'm not staying longer."
Yeah.
crazy. Wait, that's the lady that books you.
Yes,
Oh,
it's not
okay.
lady who booked me. She was like part of the thing, and she
yeah.
was like, you know, "How much for you to stay longer?" I'm like, "I'm not staying longer."
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
kind of a
not
compliment
doing this
though.
anymore.
Like if I felt like I was bombing and then they wanted to
No,
pay me to
like-
play longer, I'm like,
No, I was.
maybe I'm not that
no,
bad.
dude, I have a mix playing right now.
No,
I am not
right.
DJing
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Like I'm just like, yo, I
shit,
am
I'm
done.
like, yeah, let me-
like they've had
Yo,
a-
it was-
bring that girl's
it was
iPhone
so
back
bad.
on and
Yo,
I'll
it
charge
was
you a
so
couple
bad. I
thousand.
literally was like emailing. I was emailing my manager like, this is the worst. Like,
Yo,
I'll
I've
never
had
do
nights
this
like
again.
that where like I'm having a terrible night, like emailing Suja like never playing here ever again, on the spot, mid
where
set.
are we at?
I just don't
I've
understand.
had that a couple times.
I
can't-
just
it's
don't
been a while.
understand like how
Yeah.
people like people being that mean. I just don't understand it. Like I'm
just don't
playing
get it, man.
music.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
not
not
that
playing anything
serious.
bad.
Like that's what I'm saying.
get it.
Like enjoy the ride. Like there's
Nothing
so
out of the
much
ordinary.
music.
Yeah.
Just be chill. It's
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's Christmas.
Oh, she gave me a tip.
Oh, you did good.
Like reluctantly
Yeah.
gave it a tip.
Damn, bro, you did great.
So I got a little tip. It was fine.
So what's next for M.O.S? I know you do photography. I know you like to cook.
Yeah, I've
You
been
like
actually.
you have a lot of
yeah.
hobbies.
Yeah, I've been actually. I was watching actually the Politic podcast, which was really good.
Yeah.
It's talking about like life out, kind of like expanding your brand
Yeah.
and doing things outside of just. So I've been cooking for a while. It's been a hobby of mine, and I know Five is big foodie as well.
You
So
inviting me over?
yeah, of course, 100%.
I would love to- yeah, come on, man.
dude. Let's
Pull up.
combine. Let's combine.
Hey, let's literally
combine
have
the
a fourth
vlogs,
meal.
Do something.
Let's have a fourth
Vlog,
meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I started filming my cooking. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so this company approached me to kind of like for me to sponsor it.
Oh, wow.
But that deal kind of fell through. So right now I'm working on some cooking show.
That's dope.
So yeah, looking
Gotta be on
yeah.
your own, man.
Yeah, doing a cooking show.
Come hollering.
That's dope.
And also working on a dinner party series.
Nice. Are you still
Nice.
vlogging? Speaking of vlogging,
I stopped vlogging because it takes up
too,
so much
yeah.
time.
It's a lot of work.
I was like, I thought about like starting like vlogging again this year, and I like, I can't.
Here's
do
the
it.
thing. The thing about vlogging I learned is that the way to pop off with a vlog is you have to be teaching people something.
Yeah.
It's like tutorials. People go to YouTube for tutorials.
Yeah. The first thing they search on
and-
YouTube is how to.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
Blank.
But you
but
can,
behind
yeah.
the scenes, like what you guys are doing here with Headliner Music Club, if you can film more of that behind the scenes, like
I was doing a lot of
creating
that,
the
yeah.
shirts, filming this, DJ stuff, DJ tutorials, you add that into your vlog, and
Yeah.
that becomes your vlog. That's a winning. Because that's what it is. Is people want to learn something.
Yeah.
We can't just be like.
I told
'cause that was
Five,
the same thing. I was
some of
doing
his vlogs are whack.
No, I was doing a
No,
vlog.
yeah,
He ain't doing
yeah.
shit.
No, I was doing my vlog like, yo, I'm on a plane.
For real.
I'm on a plane. I'm in Dubai. I'm doing this.
Right.
And it was like it's getting so repetitive. I'm like,
That's
all right, people
exactly
are like,
what it
Yeah,
was.
over
people are
this,
like,
you know?
all right, cool. What am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
Like
that's
the
true.
random spring break vlog, like with like girls in bikinis dancing and like
That got a lot of
twerking
hits.
contest, got like 10,000 views. I'm like, what the
Well,
hell?
that's also sex sells.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
you know,
of course.
If there's more of that.
And like DJ videos, like getting a little traction. You know,
But it is hard to do
It's
new shit
tough,
all the
man.
time.
I was watching some person who who manages a bunch of YouTube pages said like it takes 33 to know whether you have a good idea or not. So 33 consistent vlogs,
Yeah.
Got it.
and you'll be able to gauge whether this is a winning.
What works, what doesn't.
Yeah, whether this works or not. Because it takes time. You have to just be consistent with it.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
So that's how you build your audience. So so I haven't vlogged in a while, but like I said, I'm starting to shoot more food content because I think that's the move
you
for
just
me. You
gotta
know,
pick a lane and just
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be up there and like in fucking Final Cut all night. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work.
it's a lot.
But yeah, thank you, bro, for coming
man,
out
thank
finally.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah.
Let us know when you want to cook a fourth meal for us. We would love to
No,
come
listen,
eat.
fourth meal. We do fourth meal in the kitchen. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice.
Yeah, we can record and vlog it the whole time.
Let's do some shit. Yeah.
Nice.
Word. And you are, I know this will be dated, but you're at Avenue tonight, so we'll
We'll
drink
come up
with
to
you.
Avenue. Yeah.
Pull up on you.
Let's
You
do
know,
it.
Scratchy will be there. He's there weekly.
Oh yeah. He's a regular.
M.O.S.
Scratchy's in sweatpants. He's like, fuck it.
Yeah, this is
He
how
just
he
rolled out
chills.
of bed.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he just got out of bed.
Dude, you got a black t-shirt, some sweatpants on. Yeah.
Bed hair still.
You got bed ass.
Suck vibes.
Smells like alcohol.
M.O.S.
Man, oh,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
My
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother,
dog.
Thank you guys
Hell
for
yeah.
having me. This was fun.
Of course.